Oh, we got this guy. Shout out. Go. Dude, you win a t-shirt. Except I'm wearing it, so we're going to have to go to the toilet and exchange. The great thing about WebGL is, if you learn WebGL, it works on BlackBerry. Yay! Tizen, what's that? It's amazing. Firefox, Ubuntu, Internet Explorer, the latest one now actually supports it, so you can make Windows Phone apps in the future from it. Chrome OS supports it, Android supports it, and Safari, yeah, that's right, Safari actually supports it, but only if you're making adverts. You have to use a private API to get it through. But it shows signs that in a couple of years or a year or so, you make one app in WebGL and you can run it everywhere. I'm going to slow it down now. I'm going to tidy up the entertainment. I'm just going to make it very simple. And in the world of graphics, 3D graphics, everything is a triangle. It never used to be. Like 10 years ago, there was quads. But as of OpenGL ES, they stripped out all the other formats and they just kept it to triangles. And the thing that you're going to see with triangles is there's something called vertices, UVs, indices, and normals. I'm just going to say what they each are. A vertex just defines a point in space. So that top one is 0x, 1y, that means it's up there, and 0z, so it's not forward, it's here, it's here. So you can specify any point in the world as a vertex. UV, if you ever want to draw an image on top of that vertex, there's this thing called UVs, and all that specifies is the texture space mapping. Now, texture space mapping sounds like something very complicated and something out of Star Trek, maybe if you're hearing it for the first time. But all it is just, imagine this is 0, 0, and this is 1, 1. 0, 0 will be the bottom left of the texture. 1, 1 will be the top right of the texture, and it will automatically interpolate the texture onto whatever position the triangle is. So if I have this triangle here, and I've texture mapped it around here, if I spin it around, the texture will still be around it. If you know this before, it'll be easy, but if you haven't heard it before, don't worry, it's going to get easy. Indices, you don't need to worry about that. It's just a way to optimize how you're going to draw things. Rather than just always saying, go around in here in these circles, you can just say, use this point, use that point, use that point. But don't worry too much about it. Normals, you don't, again, need to worry too much about it, and you can totally forget about it. But if you get into the world of lighting, all a normal is just specifies which direction the light is going to bounce. So I'm standing here, there's a light source coming from this direction, so my normal is this way. But if it gets to a more complicated image like my face, normals are going to be pointing all the way around, and that's how you see things. So normal defines what way the light would point, and the vertex is where you are, and the UVs is just texture map. Now, I'm really sorry to be dumping all this on you. I know game devs is really, really fun. But just hang on with me, because it's going to get easier. Because we're going to be showing you how to draw a cube. And I'm going to be... Yeah? Did we get a yeah? What? Again, stand up. Sit down. Give me 50 press-ups. So I'm going to take you to a website called Learning WebGL. Now this stuff is the hardest core layer you'd ever learn in graphics. You won't have to do this in real life, unless you want to get into the world of engine development. But there's this amazing website. It's called Learning WebGL. And they have this section called Lessons. And step by step, they show you how to initialize the scene, how to draw a triangle, how to add color, adding a bit of movement, making it 3D, adding a texture, handling keyboard input, and it goes on and on and on. The great thing about this, it's all open source and it's all on GitHub, and they have so much good documentation. Bad thing about it is, I don't have internet connectivity, so I'm running off my local server. But I'm just going to go through some of the demos that it gives you. So here, it's drawing a colored triangle and a square. The next lesson is making it spin. Again, now it's spinning in three-dimensional space. Now it's going to be textured. And here you have some movement. I'm going to jump into the last one to just show you how awesome you'll get if you go through these steps. And I'm going to go through these steps with you. I'm going to pick out lesson number 6. And this guy over here, when I'm pressing the right keyboard, he spins right. And when I press the left keyboard, he spins left. So you pretty much got a game right there to build from. What I'm going to do in this demo, I'm just going to show you how the drawing works. Now, I'm really sorry to be showing code. Very, very sorry, but we're going to break it down and it's going to be really easy. Trust me, it's going to be the easiest code you've ever seen in your life. If you haven't ever looked at code in your life before. The function that I'm going to go into is called draw scene. Now this file, it seems pretty big, but there's only one function that you should be looking at if you want to get into the whole drawing thing. And it's just very small. It just fills up one screen. I'm just going to go for it line by line and just dump what it says. The first one, this one is called GL viewport. And all that does is just specify where the graphics is going to be drawn from. So it says from 0, 0 to the viewport width to the height. So it's just saying use the entire screen. The next one says clear. It clears the screen to black. There's something called matrices in the world of 3D graphics. Don't worry too much about it. Neo's not going to jump out of you. There is no Agent Smith. It's nothing complicated. You don't even need to learn maths because it's all handled for you. But this function called perspective, all it says is just give me a 3D visualization. And it's saying make it at the field of view of 45 degrees. So in 2D space, it's at infinite plane, so you see everything flat. But in 3D, you can only see a certain angle. Don't worry too much about it, but then it gets really easy, yeah? First, you give something called an identity matrix, and all an identity matrix means is 0. So this is going to be the origin of the world, just 0. And here, what we're doing is we're translating that matrix to an X position, a Y position, and a Z position. And then we're rotating it around the X and the Y. So going back to the demo, this is spinning around the X and the Y, all because this value X rot and Y rot is being changed. So if I search for X rot and Y rot, it's modified by something called X speed. And all it does in this function called handle keys, if you have the left key press, it decrements that speed by -1. It's not complicated, hopefully. Gonna finish it off. Very, very simple. This block just binds the cube position buffer. All the cube position buffer contains is just a series of points in the world. This line says use a texture. And this line says draw elements, and it draws it. I'm going to stop because it sounds scary. Someone wants to take a picture, you can take a picture. But it's open source. It's not going to run away. Going to jump into that same function again. We're just going to go for it one more time. You're never going to have to see this again in your life. The first bit just sets up the view. The second bit positions whatever you're going to draw and rotates it. The next bit just sets the buffers. What are you going to be drawing? Next bit after that is use this texture. The last bit just draws. Now, play around with this, have fun with this, because if you can master this, you can do anything in the history of the hashtag world in 3D graphics. That's all it is. You just say where you want to put it, what buffers you want to use, what textures you want to use, and how to draw it. Deep breaths. Okay. I'm going to... Yeah, I don't know if it's going to work because I'm not on the internet, but I'm going to try it.